major trade deal announced today between Canada and China. Prime Minister Mark Carney describes it as a landmark agreement. The deal will allow tens of thousands of Chinese electric vehicles into the country in exchange for a break on tariffs for Canadian agriculture products. Mary Griffin has been following this story for us today and joins us live in the studio with the latest. Mary, what can you tell us?
Well, Stacey, what's interesting is this is the first trip to China by a Canadian Prime Minister since 2017. Now, the relationship between the two countries took a dive in 2024 when Canada imposed tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles coming into the country. Then China retaliated with punishing tariffs on Canadian products. But there appears to be a strategic thawing of frosty relations taking place, starting with this agreement. After a meeting with China's president, Prime Minister Mark Carney announces a new era of trade with Beijing.
Today, Canada and China have reached a preliminary but landmark trade agreement to remove trade barriers and reduce tariffs.
Carney says under the new agreement, trade with China will double by 2030. By March 1st, Beijing is expected to slash duties on canola seed in exchange for the sale of 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles at a tariff of just 6%, replacing the 100% tariff imposed in 2024. The deal signaling a shift from trade with the U.S. President Donald Trump wished Carney well.
Well, it's okay. That's what he should be doing. I mean, it's a good thing for him to sign a trade deal. If you can get a deal with China, you should do that.
Ottawa also expects to have tariffs lifted on Canadian lobsters, crabs, and possibly other seafood products. But the lack of details on exactly what products could be included remains a concern to the struggling West Coast seafood industry. The Chinese tariffs imposed in March hammered the sector, which experienced a reduction of 30% of exports.
We've hoped for a long time that the Carney government would be able to have something of a reset with China, and the news today suggests that that's on the way, but we don't have a lot of clarity as to what the deal actually is.
Until last year, the gooey duck market was a $50 million industry on the West Coast, with 95% of the products sold to China, but the tariffs were devastating.
Terrible. We've seen a significant reduction in revenue to the boats. We're down about 30% overall.
Austin says everyone is waiting to hear how they'll be impacted.
The devil's in the details, and so we're waiting to find out. I mean, why would you have two seafood companies or products, that are exempted from the tariffs and still have everyone else included? So we don't really know, and we're trying to find out. But until that happens, we're just in the dark.
Even the organizations that represent the wild capture fish and seafood industry are asking for clarity that the removal of tariffs on crab and lobster is an important first step, but clarity on other species is essential. It's a huge deal less than a year after Carney called China the biggest threat to Canada's security. Now he says Canada faces many threats in the world, but it's his job to manage them.
Now, Mary, these are two pieces in the big trade puzzle we're thinking about these days. What did the Prime Minister have to say about the trading relationship with the U.S. going forward?
Well, Stacey, that's interesting. Carney said that while the U.S.-Canada relationship is much broader and deeper than that with China, it's more predictable working with China. But the U.S. remains Canada's largest trading partner.